Hey loves! So today I am finally here with a long-awaited Q&A about my BBL. I know you all have been waiting for this and I've been saying it's coming out, it's coming out. I'm sorry it took a long time. Life, work, and got in the way, and then I also wanted to sort everything out. I did not expect to get so many comments. I had to look through over 2,000 comments between Instagram and YouTube, and then I had to pull the questions out. And a lot of you kind of asked the same thing, just worded differently. So what I tried to do best was combine certain questions together because they were related. And if you look in the video description below, you will see that I have certain questions clumped together into like segments. I have the timestamps there. That way, if you're only looking for a certain question, or if you're looking for the process or anything like that, you can skip straight through because this video is going to be so long. So enough with that intro. I am going to get started with these questions. So the first question is, what is a BBL and are the results permanent? So a BBL is a Brazilian butt lift. So what that is when a surgeon liposuctions certain areas of the body and they transfer that fat into other areas of your body. I do know that they are now doing that for breasts. So if you don't want breast implants, some surgeons will transfer fat into your breasts, which is amazing. But yes, basically you can get liposuction on your arms, your stomach, your back, your thighs, and have it injected into your hips and butt. Are the results permanent? They are as permanent as your natural body. So let's say you become fit and you have a toned body, you have to maintain that. You can't just slack off, not go to the gym, not work out, do weights or anything, lift weights and expect your body to stay the same. So if you want the results to be permanent, you're definitely going to have to dedicate yourself to your results. So that means don't just start eating whatever you want. You will have to pick up a healthy diet. I don't want to say diet because you're not starving yourself or anything. You just need to maintain your weight. What were your measurements prior to surgery? Do you have to gain weight? Can skinny people get the surgery? I did gain weight for the surgery. So after I gained weight, I was a 36, and then my waist was a 32, and then my hips were a 40. And now my chest is a 34. I got rid of all the back fat. My waist is a 26 and my hips are a 42. So I gained 2 inches. And 2 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at the before and afters, 2 inches makes a huge difference. And can skinny people get this surgery? I mean, it really depends on the surgeon. Some surgeons have told women that weigh 140, my weight, that they don't have enough fat and they're the same height as me. So it all depends on height and things like that. So you definitely, I mean, there's some women that look like they're pretty lean and they do get it, but I mean, it just makes a slight difference, to be honest. If you're thin and you're gonna do the surgery, I don't think it would be worth it at all, because you're only going to get maybe you might have some kind of a difference, but you have to remember that not all the fat is going to take. So it's only a certain percentage of fat that will take, depending on your body and how your body if your body reabsorbs the fat. So the way you look getting out of surgery isn't going to be the way you look once you're healed. Did I get a tummy tuck and another breast augmentation? So I've gotten these questions a lot. If I got either of those, I would have told you. I think the biggest surgery, or the one I think I would be more quiet about, is the BBL. So if I did get a tummy tuck, I would have told you. And if I got another breast augmentation, I definitely would have told you. I did not. So tummy tuck, I would have had a pretty big scar going across my stomach. I didn't get a tummy tuck. As far as breast augmentation, a lot of people have saying that my boobs, a lot of people are saying that my boobs look bigger than before. Of course they do. I gained weight. So the awesome thing about this surgery was that when I gained weight, I, of course, gained weight around my boobs as well. But now you guys are noticing it more because my waist is smaller. I'm a lot smaller. My proportions are different. And of course, I got to keep the fat around my boobs. So normally when you work out, you tend to lose the weight around your boobs if that's how your body loses weight. That's how mine loses weight. So if I would have been working out, if I start to work out, I will lose this fat. I'm more than certain I will lose it. So since I got it liposuctioned, I got to keep this fat. My proportions got smaller, so now my boobs do look bigger. But they're actually not that much bigger. It's just really the proportions that are kind of playing with your eyes. Who did your surgery and why did you choose them? And where are they located? So I chose Dra Agustina Hilario, and she is located in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And I chose her because I had found out about her on Real Self. And like I mentioned in the previous video, she was getting mentioned a lot. Many women were wanting to go with her. So once I looked up her work, I fell in love. Her results were what I wanted. And I don't think she overdoes it. I think she gives everyone the right proportions. And even when I had my consultation, she was telling me what she thought would look good about my thighs. She didn't want to liposuction my thighs, but because they were causing me problems, she did go ahead and do it. So she will give you her opinion, and I love that. And she even says I like to make my bodies proportionate. So that's why I chose her. And does she speak English? I'm not sure because we were communicating in Spanish. However, there are so many women that don't speak Spanish, so I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure she does. She kind of gets by, so you guys kind of communicate that way. How did you get a hold of Duran, and what was the consultation process? So I didn't get a hold of her directly. This woman is just booked so far out. If you try calling those numbers, I was unsuccessful. Just rings, it rings, it rings. And when you go into her office, her phone is constantly ringing. The way I got a hold and got a consultation was through surgery coordinator. You have to pay an extra $200. That's like the fee for them to handle all that. But the $200 was nothing because I didn't want to deal with trying to call first thing in the morning. I know some women were doing that. Others got lucky emailing. I emailed about 4 times and I didn't get a response. I mean, I guess it's kind of just, they just kind of go through the emails and just pick whoever. I'm assuming it's random. But I didn't want to deal with that. I wanted to get scheduled right away. So I contacted the surgery coordinator. I got my quote within a week. So that was great. They handle everything, the scheduling. They give you the outline as to what you need to do to prepare for the surgery, where your health needs to be at. So the $200 was absolutely nothing. And I mean, compared to what you pay in the US. And the consultation process. So once they contacted me, I had to send my photos over, give them my measurements. I had to answer a health questionnaire. And then they sent their info to her. Well, they're actually all located in the same building. So they show her the photos and she gives the quote, and then they send it on over to me. So you don't actually talk to the doctor. You don't talk to the doctor until you land and have your first appointment there. That's the very first time you ever get to see her. So if that's something you're not comfortable with, then definitely do not go through with it out of the country, because it's going to be very hard. A lot of the surgeons out there are very busy. I'm not sure, I can't speak for all surgeons, so I'm not sure how their consultation process is, but a lot of the surgeons, when I looked up online, have the same process. How did you find the communication with the doctor and staff? How was the general atmosphere? So atmosphere, I mean, it's chaos. So the location, it's like in this residential area, and just everything is completely different than the US. So if you've never gone to a country like that, or Mexico or anything, it's going to be different for you. But I'm I'm used to that. I've seen it before, so it wasn't anything too out of the ordinary. But it just makes you really, really nervous because then you start questioning, oh, should I have done the surgery in the US? But Drive Up Park, inside the building, I mean, it's filled. There's a directory with a ton of surgeons that all do the same surgeries. And there's women who are being wheeled out in wheelchairs because they stayed overnight, they had their surgery. I mean, it just kind of gets you very nervous. It's nerve-wracking. In her office, she's packed. There are women in every seat waiting. Her office is pretty modern. I liked it. I thought it was cute. But there are so many women in there waiting that are going to have surgery either the day before you, the day after you, or the same day you are. So that was nerve-wracking as well. You all just kind of look at each other like, I know what you're here for. As far as the staff, when I first got there, it was like a whatever vibe. It wasn't like very friendly. It was just like kind of okay. It was kind of monotone. Not like the greatest customer service, but I mean, it was no big deal. I wasn't expecting anything like that. I had prepared myself for it because I had already read reviews. The doctor, she was very kind, and she had another assistant by the name, last name Castro. She was sweet. I loved her. She was really, really nice. Those were the two that I communicated with the most. But the doctor, she was sweet, very nice. She's always just so gorgeous. I got a great vibe from her. I didn't get any iffy vibes. How much was your surgery and what was the total cost of expenses, flight, recovery, meds? So my quote was $3,900. However, that's going to vary case by case, person by person. And total cost of expenses. So many were thinking that the $39 included everything like trip and everything, not even clothes, no way. In total, I think I spent about $8,000. Well, Jay paid for half of the trip as a birthday gift for me. $1,200 was plane tickets for Jay and me. I stayed at a recovery house, so the recovery house for 5 nights was $800. And then I left after 5 nights there. I stayed 4 nights at an Airbnb, and that was $452. And then the meds were another $250. Then I had the faja, which was $150, and then just food and other stuff. And do you pay cash or can you get care credit or use credit? Everything is all cash, so they don't do credit, nothing like that. You need to pay cash. How long do you have to stay in the Dominican before you were cleared to fly back? And how were you able to sit? So they tell you that you need to stay at least 2 weeks after you've had surgery. I left 10 days after I had surgery, but I could have left 2 days earlier, which I was upset about because I really wanted to just leave and come home, but I didn't realize that until after. So I stayed there about 10 days, but in total I was there for 12 days. So I got there 2 days before surgery, and then after I had my surgery, stayed there for 10 days. And how did I fly back? There's actually, oh shoot, I left it at work. Well, I'll post a picture right here, but this is the Happy Booty pillow. And what you do is you sit with it underneath your thighs so your butt is elevated and it's not sitting on the seat. So that's what I was using on the flight back, just so I didn't have any pressure on my butt and I didn't lose that fat. How much time did you take off of work? In total, I took 12 days off of work, weekdays off of work. Did anyone go with you? Would you recommend going with someone? Yes, Jay went with me, and I absolutely recommend that someone go with you. If you're staying in a recovery home, you'll have help there, but just having someone you know, it's that much better, and honestly, it does help with the recovery because if you're like me, you're going to go through your ups and downs, you're going to cry, you're going to get depressed, like it's very intense. This whole journey is extremely intense, and I definitely would not recommend anyone go alone. So it's always nice to have that piece of home, someone that reminds you of home go with you, because you're going to be around a lot of strangers and you're going to be around other women that are going through the same thing as you. So I feel like if you go with someone who's not a part of that whole thing and is going through that whole thing, they can at least kind of keep your spirits up. Did you stay in a recovery house? If so, which one? I did stay at a recovery house. I stayed at Princess Recovery. And if you don't know what a recovery house is, basically they have nurses 24 hours a day that will tend to you. So they'll they'll change your bandages, they'll bathe you, and you don't shower. I was not allowed to shower. You have to get like a hand bath. And what they do is you have to take wipies and they will wipe you down. The reason you can't take a shower is because my surgeon said that the water there is stagnant and it's a higher risk of infection if you shower there. So I wanted to avoid any possibility of infection. So I took wipies with me, and that's how I was washed. And they do all that for you. They take off your faja, they do your laundry, they cook you 3 meals a day with 2 snacks in between, and that is with J included. So you figure $800 for 3 meals a day, 5 nights, drinks, they give you your medication, they do your laundry. I mean, that's nothing. That was extremely cheap. I do recommend in your early stages to stay in a recovery house. I don't think you need to stay there for the whole time. Like I said, I only stayed there 5 nights because there was some women that I read their reviews. They gave great information, and they said you really only need that nursing care for 5 nights. After that, you pretty much know how to do everything. You can kind of start moving around and you'll be fine. And that's exactly what I did, and it was the best thing ever, because if I would have stayed at the recovery house for that long, the whole trip, I would have gone insane. It was nice to get an Airbnb away from the chaos, and we actually stayed near the beach, so it was nice. We had that ocean air, and there was actually a show going on down the street which we could see from the balcony. So there was entertainment there, and I felt like I had more privacy. I felt more comfortable, and I feel like I felt so much better when I went there. So I definitely do recommend, if you're just getting the basic lipo and BBL, I do recommend a recovery house for the first 5 nights, and then going on doing your thing in a condo or an apartment. We stayed in a condo. It was a very modern, beautiful condo. We took our fire sticks, so we had a whole bunch of entertainment, but they also had cable there, so it was great. I loved it. What was the process prior to surgery? So you have to make sure your hemo/iron is over 12. And the reason being is because you lose blood during the surgery. It's an intense surgery, so they want to make sure that your levels are up to par. Now, if you do not have a 12 when you take your test over there, they will not do your surgery. You can cry, you can beg. They are not going to do it. You have to be sure to get your hemo at least a 12. Mine was a 13.1, so I was okay. I took iron pills, I took B12 shots, I avoided coffee, I avoided soda, anything with caffeine in it, I avoided. So aside from that, you have to get there 2 days prior. I had my appointment the following day. It was at 10 o'clock, and there they do chest x-rays, check your heart, check your blood pressure, they check your hemo. They do a lot of things. You go through a questionnaire, you get blood taken out. I mean, they do everything thoroughly. So, and then after that, they will give you your test results if they're available that day, and they let you know if you can have surgery or not. If not, you show up the next day for surgery, and they will tell you if your blood is okay. So my results weren't going to be ready the same day because there were too many women getting their blood taken at that time. So the following day, I showed up very nervous. I was cleared. Everything came out great. I was fine. Then they make you take a whole bunch of other tests again. Same tests, additional tests. You see at least 3 different doctors. And this is what made my nerves kind of calm down, is that they were so thorough. They ask you, different doctors ask you the same questions and then some, because they're trying to get as much information from you as they possibly can. They want to make sure that you are in good health. They're not being negligent. And I was kind of iffy because this is out of the country, and you know, I was just thinking that they were just gonna do the surgery and that was that. So that day we had to be there at 6:30, and the testing started about 8 o'clock, and we didn't get put into our overnight rooms until about 10 o'clock. What is the blue pill? How was it taking it? So if you're reading reviews, you're going to read about the infamous blue pill. I was under the impression that the blue pill is the anesthesia. It is not. It's just something to get you kind of drowsy and loopy. That's all it is. That is not the anesthesia. So if you're freaking out about the blue pill not knocking you out, it's okay. That's not the anesthesia. You will get anesthesia, but it won't be given to you until you're laying on that bed. You're supposed to take it, I think, 20 minutes before surgery, and it kind of just like, you get loopy. They pretty much drug you. They didn't come into my room until I was ready to get surgery, and I told them I haven't taken the blue pill, and they told me to take it. I took it. So I didn't feel any side effects of the blue pill. It was fine. Didn't feel like anything, because by the time I got into the room and they put the anesthesia is what knocked me out. How long was the procedure? I would say it was about 3 to 3.5 hours. Where did you get lipo? I got lipo all on my back, my lower back, and my stomach, my bra rolls that I had, and a little bit on my thighs. How much fat did they take out and transfer? Now this question, I just asked my surgeon, so I'm waiting for a response. I didn't even ask. I didn't even bother to ask. With all the pain that I was feeling and everything that was going through my mind, it didn't even cross my mind to ask her that question. So till this day, I don't even know how much I got transferred. Once I get the response back from her, I will let you know, and I'll put it either in the comments or the description. Did you wake up during surgery? I knew that I was gonna wake up. I did wake up. And I've actually woken up during 2 surgeries before. Surgeries that were done in the US that were non-cosmetic related. So for a couple of seconds, not even 30 seconds, I remember faintly kind of hearing things. I was on my stomach, so they were working on my back, and I could actually feel the pressure. It was on the left side of my back, on my left shoulder. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, am I waking up right now? Am I waking up right now? And I opened my eyes slightly, and I could feel the pressure. There was no pain, absolutely no pain. I could not feel anything. All I could feel was pressure on my left shoulder and kind of the moving back and forth, which is when they were taking the liposuction, or taking the fat out. And I remember telling myself, move your head slightly so they see that you're waking up. So I moved it a little bit, and I heard one of her assistants say, she's waking up. And boom, I was out again. How did you feel when you woke up? I woke up, I couldn't feel a thing. I felt great. I was numb. I had no pain, no nothing. I was just happy that I woke up. I was so freaking happy. And when I saw Jay, I wanted to cry, because I was so happy to see him, and I knew he was really worried, and he was excited to see me. And I didn't feel groggy. I didn't feel loopy. I was well aware of everything. They asked me how I was doing, and I said I was fine. And they wheeled me out of the operating room, put me into the room where Jay was at, and that was it. Did you need a blood transfusion? No, I didn't need one. You will hear that a good amount need blood transfusions. Now, that's not, I mean, for US standards, that's not normal. Out of the country, it's something else. They have different regulations. Did you have to get a drain? I didn't need one. so I didn't have to deal with that. There was maybe, I wouldn't call it a drain, but it was something inserted about this long, and it just slightly stuck out, but it wasn't something I had to worry about. They take it out during your first op appointment, during your first post-op appointment. Where are the incisions? Did they scar? So I have 2 incisions right here, one right here, right where my breast implant is at, another one right here, and I have one right on top of my butt crack. That's where that little tiny drain was at. Then I have 4 in my pelvic area. So there's 2 right here and then another 2 right here. But you can, they did darken, but they healed beautifully. They're not elevated. They blend into my skin. You can't even tell that there's scars. So that's how it is. All I need to do is kind of bleach it out or just get it lasered off. But as far as scarring goes, there's no actual scar. So once the color is lifted, you're not even going to be able to tell. Did you have to stay overnight in the clinic? If so, how was your stay? Was the clinic clean? So I did have to stay in the overnight in the clinic. You are given your own room with your guest or whoever's staying there with you. You're going to hear mixed reviews about the clinic itself. I stayed at CIPLA, that's where the surgery is given. You're going to read negative reviews and you're going to read positive reviews. I was very scared because of the fact that, you know, the negative reviews that I had seen, there was some people saying their sheets weren't cleaned, or they lay you on chucks. I mean, you have your bedspread and then they lay the chucks below so the blood doesn't seep through, because you are going to be bloody. Some people said that they didn't change those. Some said that they weren't given their medication. They were left in pain all night. Others said that they weren't fed. I, on the other hand, had a completely different experience. My nurse, oh, she was a doll. I wish I would have gotten her name, but after being medicated, you know, all night, I didn't even think about asking her. They fed me. I was given soup. I was given pineapple juice. I was given medication throughout the night, so I don't know if, I guess it depends on the nurses, because I did read that the nurses there are rude. But like I said, I had 2 nurses. One was kind. She was kind. But the second one was like over the top kind. I loved her. She even came maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning to peek in, and I was awake at that time. And she just said that she wanted to make sure I was okay and she's leaving and she wanted to say bye. So I thought that was so sweet. I love her. She's fabulous. Like I said, I had a great experience. She fed me. She made sure I had all my medication. And it was just a great experience for me. Was it clean? Absolutely. My room, it was clean. It smelled clean. I looked in the bathroom. The bathroom had a shower as well. I looked at everything before. Just because I had seen reviews and photos of some of the rooms just being really just gross. But that was not what happened in my case. It was great. It was clean. I was very fortunate to have a great experience there. So personally, I can't complain about anything. How bad was the pain? Was your BBL more painful than your breast augmentation? Absolutely. The day of surgery and the whole night, I didn't have pain. I started feeling it in the morning, where it was starting to just throb. And when one of the doctors came in to put me into my faja, I immediately regretted it. I got dizzy. I wanted to throw up because of how intense the pain was. As soon as she got me up, I told myself, what the fuck did I do? And that's exactly what I told myself. I said, why did I put myself through this? Oh my gosh, I can't go back. I can't go back in time. I have to deal with this pain. How am I going to deal with this pain? Those were the exact thoughts going through my head. When I got my breast done, I didn't take any pain medication. The pain was nothing. And this one, oh my gosh, I needed stronger meds. The pain meds in the DR are crap. So, I mean, I know some of the women filled their prescription before they left with their physicians. How they did that, I don't know, because mine wasn't going to do that. But some of them did, so they had the good stuff. But the pain meds out there don't really do much. The worst days were the second and third days. Those were the days I was the most swollen. I was crying. I was up all night. I was up every single hour. And I would just pace back and forth just because it hurt to lay down. It hurt to do anything. I felt like I was going to explode. I will never forget just how bad those nights were. Was your butt in pain or hips? So, your butt and your hips, they're not even in pain. My hips weren't in pain. My butt wasn't in pain. What is painful is the lipo. The lipo is the painful part of the procedure. You just feel it all right here. I felt it in my thighs. I even told myself, why did I get it in my thighs? Because it hurt. Was it painful to use the restroom? The way you use the restroom, you pee standing up, you use a female urinal, and it's just basically like looks like a little, it's a little cup that has a tube that points out, and you just stick it down there and you kind of pee like a man. So that's how I use the restroom. Going number 2, it wasn't painful. It was just kind of difficult. I mean, I was in pain all the time, so I can't really say using the restroom was painful, as because I was in surgery. I was in pain the whole time, so I can't really say that. But it was hard. So Jay had to like help me down and then help me up. Which faja did you use and how long did you have to wear it? So the first one that they put me in where I was getting really dizzy is this one. This is a Maria E faja, and this is just it's not a stage 2 or anything like that. It's very stretchy, so this goes all around you when you're swollen. So this was the first one that they put you in, and you're in this one for the first week. Then the intense one, oh, this one was so painful. They put me in a small, so I don't recommend. Some women were getting their fajas before, because you do pretty much, you can get it for almost half the price on Amazon. However, you don't know what size you're gonna be. So I was thinking, if I would have bought mine, I was considering buying a large or a medium. She put me in a small. That's the one I had to use. So I mean, I would have kind of wasted my money with that, or I would have had to get it altered as soon as I got back. But this is the Fajate by Dra. This is the stage 2. It's more firm. It's not as stretchy as that one. And this is the one that really gets you sucked in. As you can see, it has a lot more breathing room for your butt. So this is the small. However, I've already gotten it altered twice. So as your swelling goes down, you need to get it taken in. So when I was out there, you first start on the first buckle, then you do the second round of clips, then the third, which is the smallest. So this is how tiny it looks from here. I mean, this is a small little waist. And I've already gotten it taken in twice. So that's why it's this small. But this is even kind of fitting me a little big. And when I say big, I don't mean loose. So these fajas need to fit you really tight. They need to suck you in. So what I'm doing for now is using lipofoam, and this helps with the swelling. So I do recommend getting these. I got an ab board, but it was useless for me. It hasn't been of benefit to me. Other women it was, but to me it wasn't. So I have these 3. You put 2 wrap around here, and then you put this one in the front, and this is going to help push that swelling in, and it will it'll help speed up that process, which it did help, because I was stuck at a 30-inch waist for a while, which was frustrating me, until one day I just got fed up and I forced all these things into my faja. After that, my waist just started going down. I had to wear this 23 hours a day for 3 months straight. That 1 hour that you don't wear it, it's just to wash it and dry it. Then you gotta put it back on. So you do not want to be without the faja, and you're going to have a love-hate relationship with this thing. So I hated it because it hurt, but then when you take it off, you're good for maybe the first 10 minutes, but then your body wants it. It feels odd. It feels more painful without it. So your body's going to crave it, and it's going to tell you, put that damn faja back on. Did you bruise or swell? Like I mentioned before, I did swell. I swelled a lot, and I am still swollen. So my waist is a 26. I would assume that it's probably, when everything's said and done, it's going to be about a 25. And did I bruise? Yes. I'll post this picture right here. As you can see, I was bruised. And I did get even more bruised after that. So I had a great amount of bruising, especially on my thighs. The thigh bruising is what took the longest to get rid of. Were you able to sit? How did you sit in the meantime? So you cannot sit. My surgeon recommends to not sit for 3 months. So I used my Happy Booty pillow, and I'm still using it at work. So I was very paranoid. I just started sleeping on my back, and it's already, I'm going on 5 months post-op. And I actually just started sitting on my butt maybe about a month ago. So I waited till I was 4 months post-op to really actually sit on my butt for semi-long periods of time. Were you able to move around while recovering? Moving around, you're gonna walk. They recommend that you walk right away. We had the whole top floor. We stayed in a private room which had like a balcony. It was beautiful. I loved it. So I had a lot of space to walk. I walked outside, looked at the city, especially at night. So I wanted to keep myself moving just so I wasn't laying down all the time. As far as lifting things, you can't bend over. You cannot bend over. You're not going to be able to bend over. So if you're getting this procedure, you're a single mother and you don't have someone to take care of your kids, I would absolutely not recommend this. At least not until you find someone who can be there helping you with your children, because it is going to be a battle. You are not going to be able to lift your children. Did you get proper care afterwards? I believe I did. The nurses were fabulous. They were very nice, explained everything, washed me, gave me food, made sure that I was okay. I didn't need anything. If I did need something, they would go out and get it for me. Did you change your own bandages? No, the nurses at the recovery house did. Where did you get massages, and how painful were they? How much did they cost? It was the most painful thing ever, because you're swollen, your body is in pain, and it's just like someone just sticking their knuckles in a really big bruise and just digging and digging. I sobbed the first time. Jay was there and he felt so bad. He was, holding my hand, and I was just crying because of how much it hurt. And like I said, I have to keep pointing this out. It's going to vary person by person. So this was my experience, and it was so painful. I was crying, but the other women there, they said that they felt better, that it was painful, but it was more like a good kind of pain. Mine was a bad, awful kind of pain. It was so bad. And the masseuse said that I was really swollen and that I had to make sure to keep drinking a lot of water. And in the Dominican, they only cost $25. They range about $20 to $30. Mine were $25. And at the recovery house, they have someone that does them there for you. Then after I left the recovery house and I went to an Airbnb, I had someone that Duran's assistants recommended. They gave me her card, and she was fabulous. She actually came to the condo, and she charged $30. So she would make your house call, do an hour of massage, and be gone. But here in California, especially in Orange County, you're not going to find anybody. Right now, I am going to Karma Beauty. They're located in Downey. And those, it depends on what you want to get done. But I got a package, which was 10 massages for $850. So it comes out to $85 a massage. They do the same type of massage technique that they do in the Dominican. I did find a few other people who did massages, but they wouldn't use like the machine that they use, and they didn't do the skin tightening. All they strictly did was the lymphatic drainage, but I need something more than that. So I'm going to Karma Beauty, and the skin tightening treatment is actually working. So I'm excited about that because I had a good amount of like loose skin. How long have you been getting massages? So I got them for the first month while I was healing. I only got a few here in Orange County because it was just ridiculously expensive. It was about $100 a massage. So after that, I was just like, you know, I'm not going to keep spending money on these massages. I'll just self-massage. So I was giving myself massages up until about 3 weeks ago. Now I've been going to Karma Beauty. How long is recovery, and are you still healing? So they say that you won't get your final results between 6 to 12 months. A lot of women that I know that I've kept in touch with, their swelling's gone. I'm on 5 months and I still have some swelling. So I think I'm probably gonna need like the full year to heal. How difficult was your recovery? Well, if you refer back to my last video, I get really into detail with it. So I'm not going to get too into detail with it, but mine was extremely just awful. It was horrible. I didn't feel like myself until maybe about 3 months post-op. But prior to that, I felt like I was on fire all the time. I felt like my skin, whenever I would bend, I felt like the skin was just being pulled off of my bones. It was just an intense, awful feeling, and I hated it. But now I do not have that. I still have a little bit of tingling and burning in my lower back, but that really only happens when I'm without my faja. Do you think your experience in recovery would have been different if you had got it done in the U.S.? Absolutely. Like I mentioned previously, the U.S. doesn't do aggressive lipo like they do out of the country. So my body wouldn't have gone through as much trauma as it did. But if I would have done it here in the U.S., I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gotten the results that I wanted. Do you think if you would have not gained weight for the surgery and instead just went in as you were, that the recovery would have been easier on the body? Absolutely. I think a lot of it had to do with me gaining the extra 20 pounds. I did it wrong. I was eating really crappy. The surgeons did not say gain weight, but I gained the extra weight because I wanted to make sure to have enough fat, which I'm glad I did, because if I would have gotten anything smaller, I would have been kind of mad. Does your butt feel different now when you sit down? Absolutely. I can't feel the bones. Like, it's more cushiony. It's soft. I love the way it feels. It doesn't hurt when I sit for long periods of time because I have enough cushion. How do your clothes fit? Do they still fit the same, or do you have to buy new clothes? So my clothes fit completely different. But the good thing is that the majority of my clothes were stretch material. They fit my waist big now, but they still fit my hips and my butt because the material is stretchy. So I've had to take so many things in from the waist just because I'm swimming in it around the waist. Other things, my shorts, my jeans, none of those fit. I have one pair of jeans that do fit, and that's because those had fit me a little loose before. But they fit the button out, but they're huge around the waist. So a lot of the stuff I have to get taken in, but my shorts they're long gone. They do not fit me anymore. So if it doesn't stretch, it doesn't fit me anymore. Did you get stretch marks or have loose skin? I didn't have stretch marks and I don't have stretch marks, and I did have some loose skin. I'll show you this picture here where you can see some of the loose skin. So with the skin tightening treatments, that's going to help, and it has been helping. Do you have cellulite? Yes, I have it. I've always had it. You can see in like some of my videos, you can see the cellulite in the back of my legs, but cellulite has never bothered me. I've always had cellulite on my legs, even when I was a dancer and I was fit. I've always had it, so I guess I'm just used to it, so I don't make a big deal about it. I don't make a big deal about it, and I don't care about it. Why does your belly button look different? So people were questioning why my belly button looked different. Well, my belly button, that's actually how it looks before I gained all the weight. So once I gained the weight, it kind of went in. But my normal belly button, when I was toned and fit, it's how it looks now. And if you see a little hole above it, that is my belly ring. And the reason I got a belly ring was because I hated how much my belly button like stuck out. And I got that belly button ring when I was 16. And then someone made the comment that surgeons always do beautiful bodies, but they can never get the belly button right. They don't do anything with the belly button when you're getting liposuction. So I think that person was referring to a tummy tuck, because a tummy tuck is when they basically create a belly button for you. It's not your natural belly button. They make one for you. But I just had lipo. They don't mess with the belly button or anything. They just suck the fat out and that's it. The belly button I have is my natural belly button. Will your body replace the fat that has been taken away from those certain areas? So liposuction isn't magic. If you gain weight, you're going to gain weight the way your body wants to distribute it. So I have read certain cases where women, they'll gain weight on their arms, they'll gain weight everywhere, but they don't gain as much weight around the areas that were liposuctioned. But then there's other people who their fat distributes evenly. They'll gain weight everywhere. It doesn't matter if they got liposuction. So as with everything, it just varies case by case, person by person. It's just whatever your body wants to do, which is why they tell you to maintain your weight, eat healthy, live healthy, work out. Don't just start eating all this crap and expecting that your waist is going to stay this small, because that's just not going to be the case in most cases. Do you need to diet and exercise to prevent the fat from coming out? Yeah, or coming back. Yes, you do. You do need to eat healthy and you do need to exercise. When can you work out? Are you working out now? So I had to wait 3 months post-op to work out. However, I'm still not working out because I still have swelling. The women who I go to that do my massages, they say not to work out until the swelling on my stomach goes away more, because sometimes what can happen, she explained it to me in Spanish, which I understood, but I don't know how to say it in English. Basically, I could cause harm to my healing body if I work out right now. So that's pretty much the gist of it. If you work out, will the fat convert to muscle? Will you lose your butt? So fat does not convert to muscle. Fat and muscle are two completely different things. So there's no conversion there. There are certain exercises that you can do that will make it more round, but you don't actually lose it. What the majority of the surgeons say and the majority of experiences say is that the fat in your butt or anywhere that it's been transferred is usually going to be the last place where the fat leaves. So if you work out, as long as you're not overdoing it and you're getting the proper calories in, you don't have to worry about your fat disappearing. Do you plan on having kids in the future? Is it dangerous to have kids due to skin stretching? So I don't plan on having kids. I've mentioned that before. If it happens, okay. If I, for some reason, decide to change my mind, then it won't be until maybe 5 years along the line. And after 5 years is so far away, I still have 5 years to enjoy this body. So that's no big deal. But it is safe to have kids. It's not dangerous. Skin stretching, there's people that have had tummy tucks and they still have kids. It would be dangerous if you get pregnant right after having surgery. That would be dangerous. Does Jay love your new body? Yes, he does. But he always has. Like, he's always been obsessed with my butt. Even when it was flat, he's always been obsessed with my boobs. Even when I had none. He's reacted the same towards my body as he always has. Whether I was this big, it doesn't matter. But me, I'm more like, I walk around in my underwear more often. So I used to do all this stuff, but like I said, I do it more often now. So I'm sure he loves that. Was there conflict between you and Jay? How did he accept your decision? So I wouldn't say that it was a conflict, but he was very against it in the beginning. He did not want to hear anything about it. He just kept saying no, no, no. And stubborn me, I was like, yes, yes, yes. I I kept telling him, I know you love my body, but I want to do this for me. This is something that I want to do. I want this as a present for myself before I turn 30. He would give his input, and we would converse and talk about it, and I made sure not to just throw his feelings aside. Whenever he told me how he felt, I would tell him how I feel, why I'm doing it, and why I want to do it, and why my heart is set on doing it. So he was very empathetic towards that, and eventually he said, okay, like, if that's really what you want to do, I don't agree with it, but you can do it. And he was never gung-ho about it. Like, he was not excited, nothing. And I would tell him, like, aren't you gonna be excited, blah blah blah, like, I'm gonna have this. And he was just like, why? Like, I already love you the way you are. Ultimately, he did accept my decision, and I love him and appreciate him for that. I had this idea where it'd be a video of Jay, like Jay filming and giving a man's perspective on the surgery, how he felt, his feelings towards it, how he feels about it now. And he actually wants to do it as well. So is that something that you all would benefit from? And the reason I thought about this was because I actually had the boyfriends of some of my followers message me. They told me that they actually want to give it as a gift for their wives because they saw me and they showed them and they want to do it. So it's kind of like a surprise for them. And I thought that was very sweet. But at the same time, I thought, wow, like, they would really benefit from the guy's perspective, what the guy's going to be going through, because Jay did go through a lot. He helped me throughout the healing process. So if you think that's a great idea, comment down below, let me know, because I feel like if there's a lot of support down and wanting him to do that, he'll be even more excited about doing it. How did your family feel about it? Mexican families tend to be strict and traditional. Was that the case with your family? So I was really, really, really scared to tell my family. They actually did not know until about a week before I had my surgery. I just told them that we were going to the Dominican for my birthday. And about a week before, I was at work and I'm like, okay, I gotta tell my mom. And I said, hey mom, just so you know, I'm going to the Dominican to have surgery. This is the surgery that I'm getting, okay? And that was it. She called me right away. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so scared. And I couldn't pick up because I was at work. But I'm like, I'm at work, what's going on? She's like, I can't believe you. I can't believe you're having this surgery. Why are you having it over there? Why aren't you having it here? Why are you getting this done? Like, I could just read in her text messages that she was upset. So I waited till after I got out of work to call her, and she was pretty mad. She was just more worried that, what if something goes wrong and they're not there to take care of me, to see me. That was her biggest concern, but she was pretty upset. So yeah, eventually, but my mom, we have the same personality, and she knows whenever my mind is set for something, I'm going to do it. And the more you nag at me, the more you yell at me about it, the more I kind of just close down. That's it. I don't want to talk about it. It is what it is. I'm not talking to you about it anymore. So in the end, she was fine. She understood. She just was very scared. And my grandma, I was so scared to tell my grandma, because my grandma was so strict with me and my sister growing up. I told her in Spanish, like, don't be mad at me, but I'm going here to get this done. And she looked at me and she said, I'm not mad at you. What I'm going to do instead of getting mad at you is pray for you. She's very religious and she's Catholic, so she says prayers, and her prayers worked. I came out safe and sound and healthy. And my grandpa, he doesn't say anything. I'm his favorite grandchild, so he's not going to tell me anything. And it's not bad to say that, because all the grandchildren know that too. Were your results from Duran superb because you're a social media influencer? So this is a great question, because I wanted to get this out there. Duran actually had no idea who I was. I don't go around telling people. When I was there and at my consultations, I didn't tell her who I was. I mean, I'm not anybody. I mean, I'm just a person who makes videos. But she didn't know what kind of a following I had. She didn't find out until I started sending her my post-op pics, and I was sending her them through Instagram. And that's when she found out, and she was surprised. So these results are results of someone who wants her patients to look as best as they possibly can. And that's what she did. So it wasn't, she knew I was a big influencer, so she wanted to make sure to perform her best work that day. No, she just performs her best work every single day. Are you happy with your results, and is it worth it now that you're healed? So I am absolutely 150% happy with my results. I love them. I think she did a fabulous job. Was it worth it? I still don't say it was worth it, not because I'm not happy with my results. I say that because of all the pain I went through. Like I said, I would never forget all that pain I went through, and at a point I was depressed, situational depression. I felt like I wasn't going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I would cry multiple times a day. Sometimes, when Jay would get home, I would see him and I would just start sobbing and just cry in his arms while he comforted me. And I kept telling myself, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Like I said, I didn't start feeling okay till about 3 months post-op. So it was a very traumatic experience for me. I spent most of my time sad, and it was just awful. So because of all that emotional stress I went through, it wasn't worth it for me. How did you know that you wanted to go through with it? Like I said, it had taken 10 years for me to go through with it, and finally it was just kind of something that it felt different than any of the other times where I was questioning whether I wanted it or not. This time my mind said yes, I want it, that's it. So it was kind of set. It was just like the flip of a switch where I was like, I want this. And especially now that I was nearing 30, I thought, well, you know what? I want to have my dream body. Like, my 30s is going to be the years where I'm just having my dream body. So I wanted it and I did it. How did you mentally prepare, and how did this procedure mentally impact you? I kept researching up until the very last minute. I wanted to make sure that this was something that I wanted. I was looking at negatives about the procedures, bad things. I was kind of looking at bad experiences, even people that had died going through this procedure, because I really wanted it to be, do I really want this? Like, am I going to do it no matter what? Because I just didn't want it to be a spur of the moment decision, which I knew it was not, but I wanted to just kind of put that nail in the coffin that this is what I was going to do. I said my prayers. And how did it mentally impact you? Like I said, it was mentally draining. I was sad a lot. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. I hated my body at a certain point just because I was so angry that I put myself through this just to have my body. So I was just angry at me. I was angry at my body for healing the way it was. What would you recommend when searching for surgeons? Definitely find someone where you fall in love with the bodies they create. If you think their work is okay, don't go to them, because this is a really intense, serious procedure. And if you're going to go through this, you want to make sure that it's going to be someone who can deliver the results that you want. And that's the main reason why I chose to go out of the country, just because, like I mentioned before, I feel like doctors in the US, I've seen Dr. Miami, I've seen so many, and I think their work is great, but I think the work that my surgeon does and other surgeons, I think theirs is top notch. Like, the bar is like way up there. I knew that if I was going to do this, I was going to make sure to go to the best people. And you want to check out that background. Look at negative reviews. Look at positive reviews. Of course, there's negative reviews for my surgeon, but she has very small amount of negative reviews. I mean, very small amount. Considering the thousands of bodies she's done, she has a very good rating. Some people have bad experiences, but I had a great one. Do you recommend out of the country surgery or in country? No, I don't recommend it. And the only reason I say I don't recommend it is because if something does go wrong, you're far away from your family. And you're in hospitals where they don't have the same regulations as the US. But at the same time, the US isn't perfect and shit happens there too. So that was my thing. I was just really worried about that. That was draining me. I was just scared that if something did happen, if something went wrong, I wasn't going to see my family. If I happened to, if something tragic happened and, I didn't wake up from that surgery, what kind of stress would I put my family through being so far away? Because you got to get on a plane ride for that. And even then, it's going to take at least 7 hours. So that was just really taking a toll on me, especially because I'm so close to my family, and just being so far away from them, it sucked. And the last question, what advice would you give to someone scheduled for the surgery? Do your research. If this is something that you just decided not too long ago to do, you need so much more time. Now, a lot of people don't realize how serious the surgery is, and I say a lot of people because I got a lot of people commenting, and I got a lot of messages about how they didn't realize how intense it was. I just wanted to let you guys know, be straight up, transparent, and clear that I did not have a smooth recovery. So you have to realize that, yes, we all hope that we can have smooth sailing recovery, will be healed within a month, but sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you're going to be like me, where you're going to take months. So definitely think about that and tell yourself, will you be okay healing for so long if it does come to that? Another thing, make sure you're doing this for yourself, not because it's this trend right now. Like I said, I've been thinking about doing this before a lot of people even knew that the surgery was around. I found out about the surgery 10 years ago. So it's not something that I just saw people doing and I want to do it. It was something that I had been coming back and forth to, but decided to do it now because so many more surgeons are experienced in it, and they've come up with different ways for fat survival. So now that there's years of experience, I felt more comfortable. And kind of like everyone else was the guinea pig, now I can go do it. Just do your research and make sure that you're doing this for yourself and only for yourself. So those are the questions for you. I hope I was as detailed as possible, and I hope I didn't forget too much information. If you still have any questions, comment below. Maybe I'll do a follow-up, or I'll include it in other videos. I just don't want to flood my channel with BBL talk because I'm, hair, makeup, and fashion, and I just don't want this surgery to consume my channel. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative for you, and thank you all so much for your continued support even after the surgery. I love you dolls so much for that. You're the best. Like I've said before, I don't know what I did to deserve so much amazing support from so many amazing women and men, but I am so blessed, and thank you so much for everything. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye, loves.